So we're talking about Matthew 5:5. Oh wow, I put that one first. Oops. Okay, so Matthew 5:5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And it gives you a quick description. Meek is strength under control. Sorry about the quality of the picture. So, meekness, when you look at it, let me make it real easy to understand. You have a wild horse, it's not meek. It's not under control at all, it's crazy. Then you tame it by breaking it, throw a saddle on it, put some reins on it. That horse has not lost any of its power. It could still throw the rider and stomp it to death, but it doesn't because it's under control. That's what meekness is. Now we're going to get into, I wrote a description earlier this week. So meekness, the ability to place your faith in God, knowing that His plans are good and not bad, and having the self-control to allow our faith to override our emotions and doubtful thoughts, and letting His Spirit guide us through our situations. It's being able to just do this. Now trust me, this is where it comes in. When you have relationships, and say Debbie Stone gets mad at me, and I'm just using her as an example. She gets mad at me, smacks me in the face, and cusses me out. I need to have the spiritual awareness that God is not out to harm me, and that Debbie really doesn't always react the way that she should, and that my spirit should say, Debbie Stone, I still love you. I'm sorry that you feel that way about me. If I have offended you and caused you pain, I am sorry. That's meekness. That's just one example of a huge example of what meekness is. The way we become meek is in Romans 12:2. It says, be not conformed to this world that goes after all these riches and gets greedy and selfish and talks nasty about people and jealousy and all this stuff, but transform your mind, renew it. And you renew it by Philippians 4, somewhere, read Philippians 4. It tells you to put your mind on good things, good thoughts, heavenly thoughts, and when you put your mind there and you keep it there, you'll become meek. Meekness starts with you submitting to God and just going, okay, I know that I'm going to walk in faith, that no matter what it looks like, no matter how much money you have, how much food is on your table, whatever. God can multiply food. Still today, there's stories of it. You'll see that when you come to the movie night. So, I wanted to, Deanna will discuss that later. Maybe not tonight, but when you see, I have to say something, because a lot of people think that when we go to heaven, we're going to be these little happy angels playing stupid harps on a cloud. That doesn't sound real exciting to do for eternity. I don't want a harp. I don't like harps. I like the big ones, but they're heavy. So that's not what heaven is about. The reason that we as Christians inherit the earth is because in the book of Revelation at the end, and it says it I think in Isaiah, the new temple comes down and plants itself right on Jerusalem. That temple is where God hangs out. That is where His throne is. It comes down to the earth. The new heavens and the new earth, that heaven is the sky, a new earth, and God drops His house right up on it. And we dwell with Him forever. That's why we can inherit the earth. That's what the promise is about. And that's why it doesn't say that we inherit heaven. Because we're not inheriting heaven. Heaven is where God is, and that's where we already are seated. We already have that. It's ours. So, I wanted to, Deanna did a good, she was helping me last night, which was good, because I needed it. But, what is that? Sorry, paper I didn't want in there. So, she and I were talking about meekness and what it looks like in the natural. So we were talking about when Jesus rode the donkey into Jerusalem, and they were all like, woo, look, it's the Messiah, yada, yada, yada. The donkey could have been like, wow, look at all this attention that I'm getting. But he didn't. He was quiet, and if anybody knows what a donkey's like, they're stubborn, and they don't like to go where they're supposed to go. They tend to, not go where they're supposed to go. So, and it showed humility for Jesus, because He is, and always will be, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. The kings rode in on horses. That's why He's coming back on the horse. Because He's saying, this is mine. And I'm taking my rightful place. Jesus came down. Humility is part of meekness. But he came down, meek as a baby, did all the things that babies did, lived his life, he was a servant, which we're to be. He wasn't jealous. The Pharisees are a good example of anti-meekness. They wanted to go to the parties and sit in all the good spots, while Jesus was chilling with the prostitutes and the tax collectors. Jesus didn't demand respect at all, ever. He gave credit to the Father. But the Pharisees are like, look at me. I'm going to pray on the street corners with my huge holy prayers. You see God talk about the Pharisee, a parable of the Pharisee sitting in the temple repenting, oh God, thank God I'm not like the rest of y'all, because you're a mess. While the tax collector is sitting there beating his chest going, I'm so sorry, God, please forgive me. The Pharisee didn't get anything out of it. It says that the tax collector actually went away and his standing with God was okay. The Bible says the just shall live by faith. Meekness takes faith. The just shall live by faith. That word just means when you place your faith in God, you're already justified with God. It's not something we earn. It's not something we have to work for. It's already a done deal. And so when we stand in that, in our right relationship with God, James says that we bless with one side of our mouth and we curse. We bless God and we curse what God created, man, with the other side of our mouth. That's not meekness. We should bless each other, lift each other up, outdo one another in honoring each other. And it doesn't matter if I'm mad at you or not, because the meekness will remove the anger. It causes forgiveness. It causes you to walk in peace with one another. It causes unity. And I think so far it is the hardest one we've touched, because it is all-encompassing, and the rest of them, I think, will follow into being meek. It's lining your character up with God's character. It's not just your spirit. It's a character thing. And through that, we walk in peace. And we'll be strong. Like, we'll do things together. Christ's love will compel us as a group to go out and do things. Naturally, not because we're trying to do things, but because God says, okay, I want you to do this to show some love, and you just go show some love. So I have a huge list of the Pharisee things, but I don't want to get into that because we don't have a huge amount of time. So I'm going to go ahead and split up into whatever color groups you're supposed to be in. There's a handout with some Bible verses to study later and 3 questions to go over in your group.
So who's got yellow? Come over here, John.
Color.
Whoever's red, come over.